It's easy to tell the difference between a bad upgrade and a good one. It's not so easy when there's two good options. How can we tell which upgrade has the most impact between a Pyre and a Dark Embrace, or a Transfigure and a Neurosurge? To answer this in a run, you need to consider a lot of factors, such as your deck composition, the upcoming encounters, all those sorts of things. But what I want to know is what upgrades have the most impact without having all your run details tied to it. So today, I'm going to investigate this using a dataset of nearly 600,000 runs that can be found on Spider Codex. If you want to check this out yourself, there's a link in the description. I've used the data from every Ascension 10 run in the dataset to get the win rates of all the cards. I can then compare the base version of the card's win rate with the upgraded version's win rate. The bigger this difference is, the higher value the upgrade is. We can then rank the cards from highest impact to lowest impact quite easily. Now, there's a few things I'd like to highlight before we get into the results themselves. Firstly, let's talk about what we're actually measuring here. I'm going to be looking at which cards have the most impactful upgrade. This is different to which upgrade has the best win rate. For example, Offering, which is currently the second highest win rate card for Ironclad, only comes in at 24 for upgrade impact. In addition, this dataset does have a little bit of weirdness going on it, but I thought I'd highlight just so we're all on the same page. There's two things I think will impact the findings. Firstly, there's no distinction between the game versions. This means runs from release and runs from today are all in this dataset. I'd expect cards that have received some major balance change to have some weirdness in the data. Secondly, when I said this dataset has all the Ascension 10 runs, that includes all the multiplayer ones as well. I'll point out any cards I think are affected by this as we come across them, but we're just going to have to deal with it for now. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's get to the findings. I'll go through the top and bottom 5 for each character. You can find the full list in the description. And here's the top 5 for Ironclad. I was pretty surprised when I saw Break at the top of this list, but I suspect there's something going on here with Break having recently become a 1 cost. The rest of the cards being here I don't think is too outrageous, they're all pretty good upgrades. And here's the bottom 5. None of these really shock me. Thrash only gets an extra 4 damage and Not Yet only heals you an extra 3. And while Feed's upgrade isn't that great either, I suspect it's a victim of multiplayer being included in the dataset. I don't know about your multiplayer sessions, but I always find it hard to coordinate using these types of cards. Silence Well-Laid Plants is one of the biggest increases in this dataset. And Grand Finale is another surprise to me. My best guess here is if you're upgrading Grand Finale, you've got a deck that can reliably play it, and we're seeing that reflected in the stats. However, there's no surprises in Silence bottom 5. All the power of these cards is unaffected by the upgrade. And we also have another last hit required card, which I think multiplayer stats deflate. And now we have Regent, a guy I don't really play a lot of. With that said, I would not have picked any of these cards appearing here. Especially Falling Star, I don't really get it. I love that I have no idea, and I will definitely be checking this out in future Regent runs. Regent's bottom 5 contains the worst card seen in this dataset. Crash Landing sees a mere 7.6% improvement in win rate when it gets upgraded. I don't think any of the cards here are unexpected though. I think all the strengths are already in the base card, the upgrades don't really change that. And now we've got Necromona, who wins the award for the best card found in the dataset with a whopping 34.7% on Protector. Going from a 1 cost to a 0 cost really does make this card go crazy, so I can believe it. To me, Eidolon falls into a similar category as Grand Finale in that if you're upgrading it, you can probably reliably use it. The bottom 5 though is mostly to be expected. Again, we have a lot of cards where their strengths aren't really affected by the upgrade. I did raise an eyebrow at Bone Shard, so I do find it to be a pretty good early game upgrade. And finally, we have Defect. Before I saw the results, I would have bet money on Voltaic taking out the top spot. I was a little surprised that Overclock, Turbo, and Coolheaded all showed up here, but they are really good upgrades. And the bottom 5 is yet another set of cards where the upgrade doesn't really affect their power. I do find it interesting with Hyper Beams here, just looking at the numbers on the card. Maybe it shows that if Hyper Beam's your best upgrade target, you probably don't have a strong deck. And that's everyone. I certainly learned a lot from investigating all of this. Hopefully you found it helpful. Let me know what you think. I'm particularly interested in hearing from the Regent experts because I have no idea there. And just one final reminder that the full list is available in the description down below. Okay, bye bye now.